James from Bolt Bros here. Want to go over a little bit of a contract situation with Jim Harbaugh and Stephen Ross. Yes, the owner of the Dolphins getting involved, throwing a big contract at Jim Harbaugh to try to keep him there at Michigan. Unbelievable to be able to see this happening, guys. But let's get into it, guys. Bolt Bros, let's go.
I'm Deion Henley. You watching the Bolt Bros podcast? Let's do it!
All right, bros. Appreciate the support and love and everything, guys. Once again, like this video, subscribe to this channel. We always appreciate your support, and we love hearing from you in the comments below. So please comment on this video and let us know your thoughts. So once again, let me give you a little bit of history here. So let me give you an idea of where we're at this point. So rumors were that the Chargers, well, actually, I should go back on this. Jim Harbaugh was very interested in the Chargers job after the Jaguars game. Basically, sounds like he was interested to be able to work for the Chargers, be the head coach for the Chargers. Obviously, what the Chargers end up doing is saying, hey, we're giving Brandon Staley another year. He got us to the playoffs, albeit kind of blew it in the playoffs, but they stuck with him for 1 year. Now, about 4 months ago, there was rumors that the Chargers were talking with Jim Harbaugh, and there has been some discussions about him being the next head coach of the Chargers. Still Brandon Staley with the head coach as a head coach. Fast forward ahead a little bit too. Michigan basically gives Jim Harbaugh, give or take, $11 million basic type contract. They say, hey, look, we want you to be here and be our head coach. Obviously, the season's going really well for you, even with you being suspended multiple times by the NCAA for allegations towards you. Then moving ahead, now there's a $12.5 million per year, 10-year base deal that Michigan gave to him. I felt like that was their best and final offer. They also did put a stipulation that you could not talk to NFL teams for the first year in 2024. Now, once again, there's a lot of talks that Jim Harbaugh could get suspended all of 2024 because of all the NCAA allegations that are still coming out on him. So he might sit out a whole year. Now, once again, Brandon Staley ends up getting fired. That fire starts coming out a little bit more about Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers. It makes a lot of sense, correct? So all around, we're starting to see things kind of come together to where the Chargers could do it. When I looked at it, $12.5 million a year for what University of Michigan's offering, Chargers could easily afford that and afford more, in my opinion. Now, with this article that came out saying that, will Jim Harbaugh be tempted by a fresh $150 million contract? Insider notes on Dolphins owner Stephen Ross, lucrative bid to retain Michigan head coach. Now, they just won a national championship, right? Everybody's high at this point at Michigan. They want to be able to keep him there. Stephen Ross is an alumni from Michigan about 50 years ago. He wants to throw $150 million at him. He's a multi-billionaire. He's got plenty of money. $150 million is essentially just a speeding ticket for him at this point. He could do that. There's no rules against donating money towards a college at this point. Anybody can kind of throw money anytime at a university for whatever reason. And a lot of alumni tend to do that. Now, it's interesting that you could throw it out to a specific category of the school and you could say, hey, this is going to Jim Harbaugh's contract. Throw it at him. Give him $150 million. It's wild that an NFL owner has the ability to do that. It's kind of a weird, does it sound like a conflict of interest? Does it sound like that? I don't know. I really don't know, but I'll say this. It does kind of muddy up the things a little bit. And essentially, it's a little bit of a cock block that you're getting from Stephen Ross to try to not let Jim Harbaugh come to the NFL. Now, once again, winning in a national championship in the college level is great and grand and phenomenal. Nick Saban, with his retirement earlier this week, one of the best college coaches of all time. Now, is there a difference between saying that college coach versus one of the greatest NFL coaches of all time, who obviously Belichick got fired this week too? There is a difference there. And I think there is a difference when you say, hey, I won a national championship and won a NFL championship. Pete Carroll is kind of the more recent one that has done that. I think the competitor in Jim Harbaugh would like to be able to find a way to get to a Super Bowl. Obviously, he's an extremely successful base head coach. And even when he was in the NFL, 3 out of 4 years, got to the NFC Championship game, never had a losing season, got to one Super Bowl, minutes away from winning a Super Bowl. So it's not like he was far off. So I think Jim Harbaugh still tries to make that leap. I do expect that where this whole Ross offer to Harbaugh is rumored in the area of $150 million, 10 years with $15 million annually. I've always felt, and once again, with Tony Pauline's article here, he said 2 months ago, he expects Harbaugh to reportedly make about $15 to $20 million annually if he signs with an NFL franchise. And that's kind of the range where I was thinking at. I personally think $17 million is kind of the key number. And why I say that is because you have Sean McVay, who's won a Super Bowl. Sean Payton's won a Super Bowl. Bill Belichick won a Super Bowl. These higher paid based head coaches make just a little bit more than that. Jim Harbaugh's got to a Super Bowl, hasn't won a Super Bowl. So I think it's kind of the right zone of where we would be at. I think $17 million is the right figure to be able to get Jim Harbaugh here. Now, there are those rumors that the Chargers have already had some ideas of contracts on the table for Jim Harbaugh. I think everybody's just kind of throwing money at him. Now, once again, I could even say there's other teams out there that could be looking to throw a lot of money at Jim Harbaugh. We're very tunnel vision with Jim Harbaugh at this point. For the fan base, we want Jim Harbaugh. As for the NFL, I'm sure a lot of other franchises would like to have Jim Harbaugh. Obviously, Seahawks, Commanders just got Adam Peters from the Niners. You start thinking about these teams that have some wealthier based owners that would be willing to throw a little bit more money at a guy like Jim Harbaugh. But if all the rumors are true, if the Chargers have been talking with him, the rumor that Jim Harbaugh has a big infatuation with Justin Herbert as a quarterback and one of the best quarterbacks in the league, that guy's going to elevate Justin Herbert. He's going to elevate this entire team. He's going to give a great culture to this team, a winning-based culture, a culture that hopefully you don't charger anymore. Love to see that. It's worth paying a guy $17 million to be able to just find a way to win and get some Super Bowls, get some ideas of having deep playoff runs. It makes a lot of sense. Now, statistically, historically, Spanos don't spend a lot of money, right? And that's a whole thing here that you kind of say that is the asterisk to this whole thing. Are they going to spend that money? We've historically, last 3 times, have gotten 3 first-time head coaches, paid them a very low salary. I mean, low salary in the sense of, head coaches. I'll take $4 million a year. But will they do it? Will they open up their pocketbook to make this happen? This is the right move. And historically, the Chargers don't make generally the right moves. They make the wrong moves. They make the cheap moves. The less, the less like committing based move for a head coach. I think they need to commit at this time. They need to go out there and give him a 5-year base contract, say $17 to $18 million contract. Give him some incentives. If he gets to a deep playoff base run, adds more millions of dollars on top of that. I just feel very confident about Jim Harbaugh, where he's going to go and what he's going to do. He's obviously an ex-player of the Chargers. He knows the Spanoses. He obviously seems to really enjoy Justin Herbert. He wants to be able to be on this team. And that's the whole thing. I think it's the right move, but is it the right move for the Spanoses to be willing to spend that kind of money? You did spend a lot of money to be able to get a new facility in El Segundo. This is a great thing to hype up the fans. It's a great thing to be able to get more season ticket purchases. It's a great thing to be able to get a lot more true hype of this team. It's always a paper team in the offseason. Great on paper. Product on field's different, basically. So once again, guys, is Stephen Ross out there trying to block Jim Harbaugh from coming to the NFL, keeping him in Michigan? Do you think Jim Harbaugh will stay in college football? And do you think Jim Harbaugh wants to come to the NFL to have a chance to win a Super Bowl? So I'm interested to hear your guys' comments. Once again, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not. We appreciate your support, and put your comments below. So once again, guys, James from Bolt Bros, Spanos, make it happen. Let's go.